Just having a fun time working on my Saturn L Series here. I'm replacing the back strut and doing the brake shoes. Got to replace the brake cylinder. The bleeder screw broke off. Replacing about 8 feet of the brake line on the driver's side. Make that 9 feet. You got a short one that goes from the wheel cylinder to the flex hose. I got all that removed. But anyway, the main thing I'm doing here is replacing these beat bushings in the rear suspension. Front one there, it's up in the frame, so you can't even see it. And the top one here, it's tight, but the worst one of the bunch is this bottom one over here. Like, it is just, we're talking hammered. And the car, when you hit bumps, it thumps and bangs and clunks. And I put a big bar on the axle nuts. I'm talking like 3 feet long, and twisted it, moved it, different things, and it looked to me like the front one was the worst because the wheel moved front to back excessively. And this car, it goes through a set of rear tires every year, so it's the worst car I've ever owned for eating rear tires. But it's all due to these beat bushings. Now, I thought it might be the inboard ones, but no, they're all tight. Everything's nice and tight there on where they mate to the center of the car there. It's unfortunately this thing's got like the biggest casting I've ever seen on a car. So you got to deal with it. Like, I don't know how we're going to press something into there, but it doesn't seem to have been designed very well to fight corrosion, which we get a lot of here in Canada. So anyway, I managed to get the part off. Now I just gotta deal with it. Another thing about these Saturn L Series, if your big expensive muffler bites the dust on it, see, it's this funky shape. I don't know how much it costs. Mine decided to rust out on the top, but just to get it off the car, since it wouldn't come apart. Right there you can see my flange that I welded on, made and welded. I ran it about a week without a muffler at all, and it started making a little bit of noise on the highway, but not very much for a car without a muffler on it. Now, it does have a resonator up front, but so basically, instead of spending, I don't know what this muffler would cost, $200–300, just go ahead and put pretty much any muffler on there that you can make fit. Just some cheapo $50 muffler, because it doesn't have a whole lot of muffling job to do. This is a 4-cylinder car. Well, managed to get the bolt out of the front bushing there. This guy goes on there like that. The bolt goes through. That's one thing I can say about this car. In spite of the fact that the bolts are rusty, and sometimes the end's even rusted right off of them, I haven't broken a bolt yet, which is I'm rather surprised at. Now, I can't say that the same thing applies to brake lines. I've had some problems with them rusting off and stripping the head on the nut out, but as far as the bolts on the suspension goes and that, I've had good luck getting them out so far. Of course, I use penetrating oil and let it soak for a couple days first if I can, but yeah, so far so good. This bushing doesn't seem nearly as loose as that one at the bottom. Kind of surprised. Well, I'm making some more progress here. I've got my new front bushing there almost all the way in. Gonna have to use a press the rest of the way. I was able to pound it in with a 3/8 plate and a mini sledge. Warmed this up a little bit there to help it out. I discovered my top bushing that I thought was seized isn't. Get a bar on it there, and she'll move around, and I'll show you how these bushings are built. It turns out that they're a a type of ball joint, and they're right in a plastic ball inside this. Now to get this out, I used to get this out of the housing here. So I used an 1/8" carbide cutter to cut through the sidewall of the bushing there. That was the only way I could figure to get it out of the housing. Then just pounded it out with a punch. That seemed to work. Oh, I was going to mention the reason I had to resort to that grinder there was the fact that you can't get it in a press. There's no way. This whole lump here is in the road, and the wheel cylinder isn't much better. The bolt that holds it in so close you can't get a box end wrench around it. So some aspects of this Saturn L Series design I'm really not very impressed with.